unfortunately, you're a witness in a murder case, and we want to find out who killed her. The last person that I can put her talking to that night is you. Got some explaining to do about that.
This is Scott Thompson, the only person to have seen 29-year-old Cheryl Kane before her mysterious disappearance, now in the face of his absurd lies.
I got ADD and short-term memory loss.
Detectives will realize that Scott is anything but a witness.
Your DNA is on the steering wheel of her car. Your DNA is on the cord around her hands.
That sounds like a setup, because that never happened.
Don't want to answer any of those questions for that family.
We'll find out. We'll have my day in court.
On March 25, 2009, a homeless man in Pensacola, Florida made a horrific discovery at an abandoned Shell station. As he approached the back lot to throw trash away in the forgotten dumpster, he came face to face with the body of Cheryl Kane. Her hands were tied behind her back with an RCA cable. 2 plastic bags, wrapped around her head and duct taped to her neck, caused her to asphyxiate. But who had placed those bags there would initially prove to be a challenging mystery to solve. Cheryl was a hard-working veterinarian with a love of animals, an accomplished history as a rodeo rider, and a close relationship with her family. At the beginning of the investigation, people flooded the lot where her body was found with stuffed animals in honor of her. Desperate for answers, the community who loved her offered a reward for information leading to an arrest. At the end of March, Escambia County Sheriff's Department got exactly that. Cheryl Kane's family contacted law enforcement to tell them that Cheryl's ex-boyfriend, Larry Spears, had found her wallet stuffed beneath the mattress of his roommate, Scott Thompson. When police questioned Scott regarding the wallet on March 30th, he claimed that he had put it there for safekeeping after finding it in Larry's belongings. Unsurprisingly, that story didn't fly for seasoned detectives. The following footage was provided to us by Escambia County Sheriff's Department via FOIA request. In a lot of interrogations, suspects start out by trying to win over the investigator. They'll be charismatic, charming, attentive, and helpful. Scott is none of these things. We're not saying he has to be buddy-buddy with detectives, but what you're about to see is pretty painful.
Whew, nose is itching. Someone must be thinking about me. You're going to have a lot of the same questions I asked you the other day. Obviously, the new part would be, her wallet and stuff about that wallet.
The detective reads Scott his Miranda rights, then wastes no time getting down to business.
Okay, what was the last time you saw Cheryl Kane? Friday. And you were talking about Friday of the week before last, because I was with you Friday. So, and she was found dead on Wednesday, so the week before.
Yeah.
So, let's see, the 25th was Wednesday, 24th, 23rd, 22nd, 21st, 20th. So you're talking about Friday the 20th of March. That was the last time?
Yeah.
That was the last time you saw her physically?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and where were you at?
I was at my house.
Oh, right there on 9.5 Mile? Okay. I mean on 9 Mile?
9 Mile.
Or your parents' house?
No, 9 Mile.
Okay. So she came by your little house there on 9 Mile.
Mm-hmm.
What was the circumstances?
She had gave me some money a couple of days before. I was supposed to be looking, find her some smoke, and just didn't round anything up, and she came back by to get her money.
Now by smoke you mean marijuana?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And it was $30?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And so you didn't have any luck finding her any weed, so you gave her the $30 back.
Yes, sir.
Was anybody with her when she came by?
No, sir.
Okay. So she's by herself. What was she driving?
Her white car.
Okay. Okay. So she comes along in a white car, and you get the money back to her.
Mm-hmm.
How long is she over there?
Not long, maybe 2 or 3 minutes.
Okay, 2 or 3 minutes, and you
Just
remember what
getting
time
off
of the day?
And, it's about 5:30.
And you knew that, because you were already off
Just
work?
getting off work.
So you had just gotten off work, gone home. She called you beforehand, set it up, or she just show up?
I think so, yeah.
Okay. So she called first.
Yeah.
When was the last time you actually spoke to her or communicated with her not in person?
Monday.
Monday, okay. And that's the last time you talked to her?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And she never came over that night?
No, sir.
At this point, less than 3 minutes into the actual interrogation, Scott has already dug himself into a hole that's going to be hard to get out of. Phone records indicated that Scott was the last person that Cheryl spoke to on the phone, not on Monday the 22nd, as he claims, but on the 23rd, the day that she was murdered.
And, of course, yesterday I get over to your house because I get a call from the family saying Larry Spears has called them saying that he was over at your house and had found Cheryl's wallet in your room,
Yes, sir.
under your bed. And when I went over there and talked to you, you said that's where you placed it. Is that right?
Under the mattress.
Under the mattress, right. Well, under your bed, under the mattress, sorry. Yeah, between the box spring and the mattress.
Yeah.
Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. When I got there, Larry set the wallet on my car, and I collected it from him. And you were standing there when I did that, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. You told me at that time that you had set it there for safekeeping, is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay. When did you find that wallet?
Thursday, Thursday or Friday. Trying to think when did you come over?
I came over to your house by Friday. Yeah, that Friday I came by.
Friday. It was Saturday.
Okay.
The next day.
So you found the wallet on Saturday. You remember what was the circumstances? Tell me how you found it.
I was packing up the rest of Larry's stuff. I mean,
Okay.
like I said, he'd already got his bed and some of his clothes. He left a basket and stuff in the dresser. And I mean, I was packing the rest of his stuff, putting it out there on the little sunroom.
Okay.
And I mean, just packing up everything. And then I saw that. And I think the only thing else there was like a hair clip.
No, exactly where was it?
It was in the dresser.
In the dresser. Now, when you found this wallet, did you go through it?
I just unzipped it and seen that it was her ID.
Did you think that was important?
I thought it was just something that would need to hold on to.
Okay, so when I came over and I talked to you on Friday, and I said that I was, investigating the death of Cheryl, and then I was looking to talk to Larry, and could you assist me in contacting Larry and all that, you didn't think that finding the wallet in Larry's old bedroom was of importance?
I really didn't think of it at the time, like putting two and two together, like, that was her wallet. I just, because, I mean, she's had stuff there before, and, it really didn't click, like, oh, that was her wallet. I figured it, might have been like an old wallet or...
Okay. But you saw her driver's license in it and all that? Okay. She got her driver's license and all that stuff in there, and you didn't think it was important? Okay. And then for safekeeping, instead of calling me, you put it under your bed?
I just stuck it under my mattress. I didn't put it out with this stuff. I knew I was going to. I figured you'd be calling the next day or the day after. And...
Okay.
If the okay from that detective was a text message, it'd be a single letter. If you're going to try to frame your roommate for a murder you committed, the least you can do is make your story the tiniest bit convincing.
All right, let's see. So the last time you saw her was on that Friday, and she was getting back the $30 that she had fronted you, I guess, to pick her up a little bit of weed. Okay. And now you said that was about 5:30 in the evening. Correct. The last time you spoke to her was on Monday, and you said you had 3 phone calls, somewhere around 5:30, 6, 7 p.m., right in there.
Yeah.
And you had no more phone call contact with her after that.
Not that day.
Okay. And then you said after the 7 p.m. time, the next time you talk to her is on Tuesday, or you try to call her on Tuesday?
I called her Tuesday.
But you didn't actually get her on the phone?
No.
Okay. So she's not answering her phone on Tuesday, and I think that's pretty consistent with everybody. Nobody's being able to talk to her on Tuesday. So something happened that Monday night, I would guess. And you said the last time you talked to her was 7 p.m. Okay. And you said how many phone calls did you make to her?
I think 3.
3? Okay. And that seems to be adding up for the most part. What about 8 and 9 o'clock that night when you talked to her?
Was it that late?
Well, I have those 3 phone calls you talked about earlier. They're all right here in a row. Boom, boom, boom. Just about the times that you said. But then you talked to her for about 8 minutes, about 8:30.
Okay, that's when she called, or I talked to her the last time, when she said that, when she was talking about, what's his name? Tommy.
Well, I don't know, because we've kind of gone over it several times here. And I've asked you about the phone calls and how many number of phone calls and what times they were, and I was pretty specific. And I went back over it again to find out about it. But then we got 3 more phone calls later that night, after the time you said you last talked to her.
3?
So the last time, yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, the others are for 1 minute. So I don't know if they went through or not, but they're dialed.
Yeah.
You to her, her to you, in 1 8-minute conversation.
Yeah.
Okay, you don't
Played
remember
phone
that?
tag a couple times.
Well, but I'm pretty specific, and you're saying after 7 o'clock. So what was that last phone call about?
That was about when she told me about Tommy, about saying something like he loved her and it weirded her out, and I told her that, he was supposed to be trying to get some later, and
You don't think that's kind of peculiar?
no.
Let me lay it to you like this, okay? The last person that I can put her talking to that night is you, okay? The last person while she's alive she talks to is you. Okay. The person that's found with her wallet and his house is you, okay? Got some explaining to do about that. I need to understand how that is all coming to you. I can tell you, at first I got to look at the boyfriend's hard, okay? But their stories are matching up. They remember phone calls. This is pretty important. It's if I ask you questions about this, I mean, we realize the importance of this, the urgency. Somebody's dead, okay? Somebody's no longer here with us. Their family wants answers, and everybody wants answers, okay? We've gone over this a number of times today, and I've asked you about the phone calls a couple of times. I asked you specifically, and you tell me the last phone call was around 7 p.m., which is right on time. I mean, we got the phone calls. You said the 5:30, the 6, the 7. We got them right there, just like you said.
Well, I mean, I don't.
But it's just a later call. It's an 8-minute conversation later in the night. It's quite a bit difference, okay? Then we have the problem with, the day before I'm over at your house, the day before you find this wallet, I'm over at your house. I'm saying, hey, I need to go. She's dead, and I need to talk to Larry, right? It's important. You help me out. You call him up for me. Put me in contact with Larry. So I leave your house and I head over there. When do you start packing his stuff up?
The next day.
The next day. Would you do it during the morning, evening, what?
It's done midday.
Midday? Okay. And
wait, what day is this? Cause
Friday.
I mean, it's like a week ago, and I mean, I'm trying to remember. I mean, I know you tried to confuse me, but
I'm not trying to confuse you. I want to make sure you're very sure. Okay, Scott, I don't want you confused. I want you telling me what I'm after here is the truth. Okay? Okay. Okay. Don't want you confused. I want you telling me the truth. The problem I'm seeing here, and just let me explain to you. The problem I'm seeing here is I'm being very specific with you, and I'm wanting specific answers, and you're giving me specific answers, and then 5-10 minutes later, when we go back to it, and I tell you a new bit of information that shows, hey, you couldn't be telling me the correct information, then you're changing the story. So you've done that now on the wallet. You've done this now on the phone calls. I do a lot of interviews with people. I've been doing this job for 12 years now. I've been a cop for 12 years. I've been doing investigations for a long time too. Okay? The things you're showing me are deception. Okay? You're not sure. You know why you're not sure? Because you're not, the truth slides right out. It's when you got falseness in there, you're trying to cover something up that you get confused. This is easy then, okay? I'm asking you specific questions. This is not like I'm talking to you about something that happened months ago. This is Tuesday. We're asking you stuff that happened last week. You haven't even worked a full week since last week. Okay? I want you on page with me now, okay? So when I go over this stuff, I'm glad I hadn't started this thing. We're all screwed around now. Okay. Let's go back to the phone call conversations on Monday. You with me?
Yes.
On Monday. You said you talked to, well, the first time you said you talked to her 3 times. Last call being around 7 p.m. But now we remember these other phone calls later, right? Or at least a conversation?
Well,
around 8:23, to be exact.
I talked to her 3 times, and I know we played phone tag like once. Where, she called me, I didn't answer, or I'd call her, she didn't answer. But, I talked to her, actually physically talked to her, I think 3 times.
Okay. You're right on time with the other times. This 8:30 phone call. Tell me about it. What was going on with that phone call?
That was the last phone call when she said, "Did you find anything? Were you able to find anything for me?"
Right.
I said, "No, it's going to be later on. He didn't have nothing right now." And that's when she said, I'm going to go drink a beer and go hang out. And, if you find anything, call me back. And that's when we talked about, I guess, the new guy she's kind of seeing, Tommy. And she said that he had said that, like, he loved her or something like that. And she just said, it kind of freaked me out when he said that. And, it's kind of weird how he was saying he loved me. And that she was going to go have a beer. And, she goes out all the time. I don't ever go out and hang out or party.
Okay.
Nothing, but, she's a talker. She talks and talks and talks.
It's fairly evident here that Scott is trying to paint Cheryl as a partier and himself as a calm, relaxed homebody. However, his record says otherwise. Shortly before the murder of Cheryl, Scott was arrested on some pretty severe charges. Originally, he was threatened with aggravated assault with intent to commit a felony, aggravated assault with a deadly weapon, theft, narcotics possession, and possession of a controlled substance without prescription. To us, that sounds like a guy who's doing his fair share of going out. Ultimately, Scott took a plea deal and pleaded guilty to improper exhibit of a firearm, petty theft, narcotic possession, and possession of a controlled substance. In addition, Scott had been charged with domestic violence in 2006 and was issued a restraining order as a result. So, as meek and, well, vanilla as Scott seems, it's important to remember that beneath that is a man who isn't shy about breaking the law.
Okay, so after you have this 8-minute conversation with her at 8:22 in the evening, okay, it ended at 8:22. It actually was started about 8:14, according to the phone records. Okay, then at 9 o'clock, 9:04, 9:05, one call to and one call from you. Do you remember that?
Did I call her and then she called me back?
Your phone. I'm not saying you called her, but your phone called her. Why would you call her? I don't want to confuse you, but you just said you didn't talk to her again.
Talked to her a bunch that night. It's
okay.
I'm not saying.
But you're telling me this 8-minute conversation, right? Okay. Pretty much you told her it was done there, but then y'all are both calling each other. What? Less than an hour later. Okay.
I think, when I talked to her that last time, she was like, you sure you can't get nothing? And that's when I waited and called her and said, no. I really don't even remember if I got a hold of her that time. I think I called her, she didn't answer, and then she called me back.
Scott, am I not being specific? Am I not trying to, I'm not trying to trick you here.
People don't never, get a little confused or, I mean,
Scott, you've been confused the whole time you've been here. You've been confused the whole time you've been in here. I'm not trying to come down on you. It's just me and you in here talking.
I know. I
okay.
understand. I mean,
But listen to me. I'm asking you questions about a murder. Somebody's dead. Okay. It's as serious as it gets. The pucker factor in here's got to be max 10. I mean, you couldn't be any more of a scary situation than talking about a murder with a homicide investigator. I understand that. Okay. But I'm putting your point on, and I'm asking you specific things, and I'm making sure. Each time I get done asking you this question, are you sure? Are we right there? Okay? You told me this 8-minute conversation ended. You wouldn't have any more reason to call her, but I have both of you calling each other less than an hour later.
I mean, I talked to her before that. I mean, I must have talked to her maybe for 3, 4, 5 minutes. I don't know in my head, like, okay, this time I talked to her was the 8-minute, this was the 5-minute, this. I mean, I'm not trying to BS around or, I mean, I want to say that's the truth and I know for 100%, but I'm not sure. I mean,
that's why I'm asking you. What would be the reason to call her after that? You said the conversation was over. You pretty much had told her at that time that, wasn't going to be able to hook you up. That was it. And she gave you a little conversation about Cody, and she said, hey, call me if you do run across something. And you said, would you have any more, do you have any more reason to call her? You said, no. Did you call any more? No. Are you sure? I'm sure. And then I pull up the phone records and tell you, y'all both have a phone call conversation. Oh, yeah.
Well, I mean,
come on, man.
I don't know what to say, man.
I don't either, because you're changing your story every time.
I'm not trying to change my story.
Okay.
I mean,
but do you see my point?
I see where you're coming from.
Okay. I don't know. I wasn't there. Okay. I don't know. I wasn't there.
I wish y'all could have the technology to listen in. I know they got the act where you can't listen or tap in, but I mean, I don't know. I would like to know what and when, but I don't remember exactly what call was what, which one was 8 minutes, and.
Soon after this exchange, the detective has to leave the room for about 30 minutes to take care of a phone call. When he returns, Scott gives him a taste of some personality for the first time. It seems that all that time he was left alone to think has really rattled him.
All right, let's get back to this thing.
Are we going to do any recording today? Or,
yeah, man.
Or what?
Yeah.
Okay.
You all right?
Yeah, I'm fine, man. I just
seem a little agitated.
Just been in here for 2 hours, and it seems like you go from talking about coming down to do a statement to interrogation, and I mean, just didn't think it was going to turn like this. No, I don't.
Well, I mean, you're the one that's changed. You're the one that's changed the story a few times here. That's why I'm trying to get the story completely tight, and then we do the recording. Okay. And you said that time you were talking to Cheryl on that Monday. That Monday when you were on the phone with her and I had phone records of you talking to her, you were arranging some kind of deal for her to pick up a nickel bag or something with through Adam. You were going to get it from Adam to get to her, correct?
Yeah.
Did y'all argue at all?
No.
Okay. And no kind of arguments, anything like that?
No.
Okay. At that point, you said before that you had owed her a little bit of money. What, $30? Is that what? Let me look in here. $30, but that was on the previous Friday.
Yeah, that was before.
And you got it to her.
And that, yeah.
Okay, so at that point, you didn't owe her any money, and she didn't owe you any money.
No.
Everybody's clean bill of health.
Yeah.
Okay. And did you that Friday? How did that go down? How did y'all meet each other?
The Friday, the last Friday.
The last time you saw her.
Last time I saw her.
Yeah. How did that go down again?
She just called and was
Okay.
like, was it able to go through or anything?
Right.
No.
Any kind of problems with that?
No.
She was not mad?
No.
You were not mad?
No.
Okay. So she comes over and she's alone, you said?
Mm-hmm.
And she is, collects her $30?
Mm-hmm.
No problems?
No problems.
Okay.
This is where Scott's story really begins to fall apart. At this point, detectives have spoken to everyone that he claims to have been involved with surrounding the murder of Cheryl. This includes the couple he sold the dresser that her ID was into, and 2 different individuals that he sold a TV and a DVD player to. At this point, detectives believe that the black RCA cable tied around Cheryl's arms likely belonged to one of the electronics he sold.
You see what I'm running into here, though, right?
Yeah.
Every time I talk to somebody, I find out the story that you're giving me is off from the dates you gave me, the times you gave me,
Well, I mean,
the dates you gave me.
I was off work. I know I was off work when we did it.
Let me explain this to you, Scott. This is serious business. We're talking about somebody's death. We're talking about a murder here. Okay? And this is probably the third time I've given you this speech. We got to be precise. Okay? And when I ask you, I'm asking you every single time, are you sure?
I mean,
And I'm getting that assurance from you, but then I'm coming back and we're not sure. So this is probably like the fourth or fifth change that we've gone back to. You realize, I mean, work with me here. I want to try and get the truth. I want to get to the heart of the matter, and I'm hoping you're wanting to cooperate with me.
I am.
So all of these are mistakes. Is that what you're telling me?
Like I said, I was off work for that week. You know, I was off. I mean, it's not like I'm remembering exact days. I know when we did it. You know, and what we did,
well, I gave you a pretty good frame of reference as far as when you got rid of the dresser. It was only 4 days ago. This isn't like it's, you know, months ago. And there was a pretty traumatic thing that happened. I mean, you found out that, I mean, this would have been the same day you found out that she was dead, that I came over and knocked on your door.
I was still off work when we moved the dresser. I know for a fact I was still off work.
Well, I mean, the day I came over to see you, you told me you worked that day. Did you work that Thursday?
That was the first day I went back to work, was Thursday.
And Wednesday the very next day when you're moving all this stuff, you said that's the day that you did it after work. Now, at first you told me it was during the day, and then you changed it to no, it was after work. I asked you, are you very sure? And I gave you an excellent frame of reference because I came and saw you about a murder. That to me would be a beacon in the sky. This, you know, something you should remember for a while. Homicide investigator comes to my house, knocking on my door, wanting to talk to me about my murdered friend. I would think, I mean, it would be reasonable to me, and I think most people would say, hey, this is something I'm going to damn remember. Okay? And it was only 4 days ago. Okay? So, you know, I gave you a good frame. I gave you a time, and I said, hey, are you sure? And we've gone over this a couple of times now, and you were pretty sure.
I understand, but I mean, like I said,
you're killing me here on changing your story, dude.
You know, we've been doing some drugs. I mean, it's not like I'm remembering every single solitary detail, and if I'm say something that might have been a day off or a week off or
do you feel like I'm trying to trap you and stuff?
No, not really.
I'm trying to be as upfront and open with you as I can. And,
I mean, you're asking me if I tell you I don't exactly remember.
Well, that's why I'm saying.
I mean,
but that's why I'm saying, are you sure? And we're getting these reminders, and that's what you're telling me. I am sure.
And I mean, I really don't remember the exact days, but I mean, if I tell you that, you're still going to be like, well. You know, that's the beacon. It's a good reference. It's only been a week or two, you know, week and a half. You ought to remember.
Right. Sure. I mean, I think a normal person can remember, especially with giving a frame of reference. And you said, hey, look, I was off, but this is back to work time. This is when you know. And there's a big difference between Monday when you're off and doing all this moving and Friday when you work all day and then you started afterwards. And that's where the confusion's hitting. Okay, so you're not getting confused about multiple days off. Hey, maybe if I had 4 days off in a row and something happened on the first or second day off and the third day off, maybe I could be confused. But you're going back to work. This is after a traumatic knowledge of finding out your friend's murdered. And a homicide investigator coming over to your house and taking, I went over to your parents' house and talked to you originally, right? Mm-hmm. And you agreed to come with me over to your house, right?
Yeah.
I mean, we had a long conversation. To me, that would be something sticking in my mind, a great frame of reference. The next day, you're telling me you go to work all day, and then when you get done, you move this furniture and stuff. Tasha's correct when she says, hey, I got this dresser from him on that Monday and mirror, and it was loaded up, and you sold this
DVD player,
black guy, the DVD player, now a TV, and some kind of stereo booster on that day. That's all that Monday. And you have a conversation with Cheryl, and she overhears it. You remember that?
Yeah.
Okay. Her recollection of that conversation was an argument. You cussing that stupid. She thinks I owe her money. I don't owe her money. That's the gist of the conversation I'm getting from her.
I'm telling you, man. Tasha's must be talking to Larry, or Larry went over there and talked to her, and that sounds like a setup, because that never happened. I mean, I did not owe her money, and I don't know. I'm telling you, the only thing I can think of is Larry's talked to her and said something about the wallet, implementing me and just trying to get them to go against me, because I don't know.
But everything else is lining up. I mean, the conversation's there. Yeah. They're talking about the black guy, which corroborates your story, the black guy. It's just the dates have been wrong. And you were telling me you're confused on the dates. So they have the correct dates.
I think are you sure you're not just trying to razzle me when she said that I called her a stupid this and that? And
no, this is my pad. It's all right on it. Cussing at her, he owed her money. You see that sentence right there? Have you seen me write any of this since we've been in here?
No.
Okay, that's what I wrote prior to coming in here. Interview,
ridiculous.
3:31 at 12:30 hours. Right now it is 1:34 hours. So I started that interview at 12:34 hours, ended it at 12:51. Oh, actually, I started the recorded session at 12:51. So, I mean, I just came from here, and that's my writing. You didn't see me write it anywhere else. Not making this stuff up, dude. I wasn't there.
I mean,
I'm just only going by what I'm told. Okay? Okay. So, what about this DVD player missing its power cords or connection cords? That's not true. So when I do get this guy in here, Big or LB, he's not going to have an issue with that, right? We're absolutely sure of that.
Yes.
Okay, great. The only thing that bothers me is every time I've said, "Are you absolutely sure of that?" I come back 10 minutes later and
Adam
you're not
got the
absolutely
TV
sure of
and everything else. All I had was a DVD player left.
Okay.
And the DVD player, that other TV that was in the living room I was using at the time. And, I mean, I don't have any other cords or nothing. I mean, I don't know.
Okay.
Can't believe she said that I argued, and I just,
When
that blows my mind, because, I mean, that...
Okay, well, you hold that to yourself for a second.
If Scott were thinking logically, the fact that his friends told the truth probably wouldn't blow his mind. It seems that for some reason he believed his friends would back him up at their own expense. Yet these are the same friends that he just called out the minute he was threatened, claiming that they stole his substances and that the wallet of a murdered woman was in one of their dressers.
Scott, you need to realize that you have to be honest with me on this. Mm-hmm. These discrepancies in your story don't shine good on you. Okay? I've had so many versions now of the story you're giving me. Okay? Mm-hmm. This is my first rodeo, man. Okay? You're not being honest with me for a reason. Okay? Mm-hmm. So, can we get to the honesty part here?
I mean, I want to call Tasha right now. I mean, I want
to... She just left here. I don't even think you would get her. She would have to get all the way home. But that's neither here nor there. Okay?
I mean...
You know who I want to call? I want to call you. I want to call you and find out what the hell's going on, man. Because, you know, I really felt like when I talked to you Thursday, mm-hmm. and, you know, I said, hey, man, you know, Cheryl's dead. I really need to get a hold of Larry. I'm concerned. This is a homicide. Mm-hmm. How can I get a hold of her? Picked up that phone. He called me. I talked to him today. You know, you said all that. I said, well, call him for me. You cooperated. You gave me that. Mm-hmm. You let me look around. I was looking for power cords and stuff like that. Now, if I'd have known that 4 days before that you'd have taken everything electronic out of your house, I would have been nice to know. If I'd known that the dresser that you somehow thought I would have seen it was already gone that previous Monday.
The TV's been gone longer than 4 days. The TV and surround sound. I mean, that's been gone like...
Well, it's 4 days. Yeah, it should be a week and 1 day is what it should be. Because now it would have been 4 days if the times were correct the first time you gave it to me. But they aren't. Because now you're saying that Tasha's times are correct. So a week from yesterday would have been when you got rid of the TVs and stuff, right? or at least the small TV, the DVD player, the dresser, the mirror, and all the stuff with the exception of the baker's board, right? Now, am I saying that right? Baker's board? Is that what it is?
Baker's rack.
Baker's rack. Okay. Baker's rack. Kind of enlighten me. What is that?
It's like a tall, something you put in the kitchen. It's got like a metal frame on the back. It's
okay, I
like
get
a little mini countertop.
Was it from the ground up kind of baker's rack, or is it something you sell on the counter?
Ground up.
Okay. All right. So, had you been correct and all that, but now, learning it different now, knowing that night, you'd already gotten rid of that stuff. Certainly, you should have already found that wallet at that point, right? No? So it's the next day you find the wallet. We're not confused on the time for the wallet find, right?
No, I mean,
you're positive.
The day after y'all come.
Right.
The day after y'all come, which was Thursday.
Right.
First day I went back to work.
Mm-hmm.
The day after that,
right,
I moved all the stuff out, and that's when I found it.
Okay.
And that was a Friday.
And that was Friday.
Yeah.
Did you work that day?
Yes.
Okay. And so what time was it when you got around and found this? In the evening?
After work.
Okay. After work? You're right.
Mm-hmm.
Correct?
Yes.
Okay. And we're sure of that?
I'm sure, 100%.
Okay. Okay. You find that wallet and, you know at this point that Cheryl's dead. You know that I was in a hurry to try and get a hold of Larry. Because I think I told you that night, hey, I'm going to want to get a statement from you, but right now it's more important for me to talk to Larry.
Mm-hmm.
So I need to get a hold of him, but I'll be back in contact with you.
Yes.
Right? I didn't talk to you that whole day at Friday while you're at work, right?
Mm-hmm.
Were you kind of looking around to see if I was going to come see you that day?
I figured you'd call or something.
Okay. So you find this wallet, and rather than call the sheriff's office or call me, you put it under your bed,
mm-hmm.
okay? And you put her wallet from a murder victim under your bed, and you don't call anybody, and you say nothing about it until I find out about it yesterday, Monday.
Mm-hmm.
After Larry, who is moving out the rest of his stuff, finds it in your bedroom, which he probably shouldn't have been in your bedroom, but that
shouldn't have been in the house.
Well, if he has property in the house, which he did, certainly still has a right to go in there and get it. He was your roommate, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And when did he move out, or did he? Actually, his stuff was still there, so I guess he never officially moved out, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So his stuff was still there.
Well, Sunday's when he got the rest of his stuff out.
Okay.
I guess he come back to get his boat on Monday.
Okay.
And some stuff that he had in the garage.
Okay.
And Sunday, I was just getting up to go play golf, and that board that was there was moved, and he was opening the door up. I guess, I don't know if he didn't have the key on him or what, but he came over Sunday and was when he was getting the rest of the stuff.
Okay. And so he moved
it was all out on the dresser. All out in the sunroom.
All right. Did you think about that wallet then?
No.
What's on your mind? I mean, to me, if I'm sitting there and I know I got this murdered girl's wallet with her driver's license, and obviously you knew that because you said you opened it up and knew it was her driver's license.
I saw it was Cheryl's wallet.
Man, and the homicide guys are coming over and wanting to talk to my friend, my former roommate Larry. I would think, hell, I'd be beeline off. Hey, you need to come talk to him. I got their wallet over here. It was found in his room, in his dresser, or his room at least. I mean, I think I would be concerned with that, wouldn't you? Does it make sense? Is it logical to you?
Yes.
It's logical to me,
yes.
And that's why I kind of go, does it make sense? Okay? And you never call me.
No.
I mean, that doesn't make sense to me.
It doesn't make sense to anyone with logical thinking skills. However, the next big mistake Scott made that the detective is about to highlight was a much more reasonable one to make.
Now, when we get to the black guy, he's going to tell me he had everything he needed for that DVD player, except for the remotes.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what else there would have been. It was just a DVD player, the TV, and the thing.
What connects the DVD player to the TV?
I didn't hear him say anything about where's the power cords or nothing. He just took it and left. I mean, he didn't, I don't remember him saying, hey, where's the cords and all that. He said, where's the remote?
If you remember prior to this, me coming back in here, when I was asking you about that, and you were going over, I think we started with game systems. Remember I asked you about game systems? Had you ever had one? You said, never had one.
Never had a computer.
I asked you about computer. Never had a computer. Then we went over the big screen TV and all that stuff. And then we went over Adam buying the TV and the price of it, the surround sound. And I was very specific. Hey, did he have all the wires and stuff for that? And then we went over the
Adam
DVD.
got everything that was plugged up, hooked up in there. He got everything with that.
I understand.
I mean,
and you told me the same thing with the black guy getting the DVD player. Because I asked you, and I was specific about that, because that's one of the questions I have, is if all the wires are with it. And I made sure I asked you that question, and you were absolutely sure of it. And then when I came back in here and I asked you about it again, I'm asking you about these cords and stuff, and you telling me the only thing he was missing is the 2 remotes, which he got that following Sunday.
The remote, the DVD
That's the
player
only
didn't
thing
have
he's
one,
missing.
but the remote.
Right, the remote for the TV, right? Because there's not one for the DVD player, right?
No, there's no remote for the DVD player.
Okay, so there's just one for the TV.
TV.
And that's the one he got on Sunday.
That's the one he got on Sunday.
Okay, so Tasha, who's telling me, she recalls the black guy saying, hey, how do I even know that this works? There's no cords for it. You don't have all the cords here. That's bullshit. That's what you're telling me.
I don't remember that. I mean, I think that's bullshit.
But when I asked you about it, you said all the wires are there, correct? So are you sure that all the wires are there for that DVD player?
I don't remember. I had the cord, the plug that plugs it in wrapped around it. And I really don't remember if there was any cords with it or not.
Okay. But you were sure of that before I took the break.
I'm telling you, man, I think Larry's talked to her and said something about cords or something, because she's too involved and saying too much stuff.
Well, I'm asking
that
her
she wouldn't know
specifically about that.
Okay.
And then she recalls, this was said.
I don't know what else to say, man.
Well, you're sure one minute, you're not the next. But a DVD player, for it to work, has to have some type of connections between it and the television.
I don't think there was any RCA jacks or anything.
Okay. You remember that word RCA jacks?
Yeah.
Okay. RCA jacks. No remote, but there was RCA jacks. Look right here. No remote, and then there's RCA jacks right here. You know why I wrote that? And that's what I wrote the first time when I left, before I went and talked to her. So this last little break, because you mentioned specifically the same word, RCA jacks, and so I wrote it down that way, because you said they were there.
And you said, what are you talking about? And I said the 2 things.
Yeah, I know, and you explained how it was. So you were very sure of them being there prior to my break. Now after talking to her, and after her telling me about this, now you're not sure. And now you're saying even further that you don't remember there being RCA jacks. When before this interview, you specifically said RCA jacks when I asked you if the cords were all there.
You haven't talked to him yet and asked him?
No, I haven't talked to him yet. I haven't talked to him. I just talked to her.
I don't know, man. I think you're tricking me now, or trying to confuse me or something.
I'm trying not to trick you. I'm trying not to confuse you. Trust me, I don't want to confuse you. Hell, you've messed up every date I've had so far, right?
It wasn't until June 9th that Scott was seated in this interrogation room again. For those months in between his first and second interrogation, he was in prison for violating his parole. That gave him a taste of what was to come.
All right, Scott. Back again. You're under arrest for the murder of Cheryl Kane. I have a warrant right here for your arrest. Open count homicide. Signed by the judge. This is your rights. Today's date is 6/9/09. The time right now is 16:24 hours. We're here at Escambia County Sheriff's Office. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can be used as evidence against you in court. You have the right to have a lawyer present while being questioned. If you cannot afford to hire a lawyer, your lawyer will be appointed for you without cost before questioning. If you wish to answer questions now without a lawyer present, you will still have the right to stop answering questions at any time. Are you currently represented by an attorney in any pending criminal cases? No. And that would be an A. And right here are the rights I just read to you. If I could get you to initial them, that I read those to you.
I'm not signing that.
Okay. You're not going to sign that I read you those rights? Okay. Here's what's going on. I got the DNA back. Your DNA is on the steering wheel of her car. Your DNA is on the cord around her hands. And your DNA is touch DNA all over her person.
Yeah.
Okay? Her wallet's there in your house.
You don't have my DNA.
I have your DNA.
You don't have nothing.
Okay. I have your DNA.
If this is one of those scare tactics, like the 8-hour interview.
See that report right there? FDLE report right there. This is about Cheryl Renee Kane. Scott Thompson's included in DNA profile 37. It goes on and on and on like that. See your name? Exhibit Scott Thompson?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. No, this ain't no bullshit. This is your opportunity here to tell me what led to this incident. It doesn't mean, I don't know exactly what happened because obviously only you and her were there. But this isn't a question of whether or not you did it or not. This is a question of why you did it or not. If you don't want to talk, that's fine. You will obviously get your day in court to explain what happened. But if there's some mitigating circumstances, she attacked you, anything happened along those lines, I need to know about it now.
No.
Okay. So, we going to talk about this or no?
No, I don't. I mean, you don't have my DNA.
Okay.
I've never been in her car.
Okay. You've never been in her car?
Never been in her car.
Okay. And
I've ridden in her car once, a long time ago.
Okay. Were you driving?
No.
Okay. Your DNA is included on her steering wheel.
There's no way.
Sorry. Your DNA is included on those power cords around her wrist. Now, I know we had this little thing about the DVD player that you gave to that guy, and I've gotten that DVD player, and he says you provide him with cords to it. So I don't know if these are different cords or what, but these 3-prong cords that would go into like a DVD player or something, your DNA's coming back on that and all over the person. The only thing I figured, because there wasn't no fingerprints, is that you were sweating when you did this, and maybe your sweat dropped in there, or maybe you took your gloves off and thought you were cool just touching the clothing part and that you wouldn't get fingerprints on that. I don't know. But you're saying you never drove a car, you're coming back on a car, on the steering wheel. So if you've never been in a car, that's fine. But your DNA's in her car, and that's the problem. Your wallet ends up in your house, under your bed. Now, I know you said that Larry Spears must have put that there. You found it in Larry Spears' thing. Larry Spears' phone records come back that he's in Alabama. His DNA ain't showing up anywhere on this. That's the problem. I don't have Larry Spears' DNA on her steering wheel. I don't have Larry Spears' DNA on the cords. I have yours. Okay?
No.
So if Larry's excluded, you're telling me you found the stuff in his room and you thought that, hey, I'll just take this and put it underneath my bed and hold it for me. Well, that's kind of a bullshit story. We kind of knew that from the get-go, didn't we? Okay? The situation is, I don't know what brought on the thing. I mean, I realize you were arguing with her that day over money or some crap. That's the information I have. But I don't think that's enough to kill somebody. If you were with her that day, this would be the time to explain how your DNA's on her.
I was not with her that day.
Okay. You're not with her that day? You ain't drove her car, and you didn't touch the cords, right?
Exactly.
Okay. Talk to me. How are you? Do you own some of her clothing? I mean, have you been over to her house and done her laundry or something? I mean, there's got, it don't just magically appear. And Larry's isn't there. That's what hurts even more. I mean, if her wallet ended up under my bed and Larry's DNA was all over this shit, well, now I probably isn't here talking to Larry right now. But that ain't the case. Okay?
All right.
Now, I don't know if she attacked you, if she was pissed off at you because you owed her money. I don't know if she threatened you or what happened. But I do know she's dead, she's tied up, you're on her car, you're on the straps around her hands, and you got DNA all over her clothing. I don't understand how that happened. Yeah, this would be, hey, if something mitigating here, this is when we talk about it, you know? This is not that time, well, I'm going to deny. I need to know. Shit didn't just magically appear. And I think I've been honest with you every time we've been in here. And I've explained things as I went, what was going on. Went and told you, hey, I'm going to go talk to this person. I'm going to talk to this person. I'm going to tell you. And I came back with you each time. This isn't a mystery thing. I don't sit here and come in here and try and tell you, hey, I got this big folder of bullshit. No, this is real stuff. I come in here and I've been straight up with you each time. Here's what I learned. Can you explain this? Now, you've backpedaled in the past. Well, I showed you the phone records. You said, well, I don't remember all those phone calls. Okay? Well, maybe you don't. But we got a situation here where this isn't a memory thing. You're there. That ain't the question. The question is, why are you there? Now, if you got an explanation for that, I'm willing to hear it. Then that's what I'm here to do. I'm willing to hear your explanation. Okay? Sit there and shake your head all you want, but it's there.
What do I need to do to sign this?
That's just saying that you understand your rights. You don't have to talk to me.
Okay.
And if you don't want to talk to me, that's fine. That's just saying you understand that I explained that to you. Okay?
Let's see.
You have the right to make something. Everything I just read to you right there. And I'll witness it.
Scott's defiant stand against signing the paper crumbled pretty fast, didn't it?
There got to be an explanation, dude. The only explanation I know of is that you killed her. Talk to me. Tell me.
Have I been hiding?
No, you haven't been hiding. You've been in the jail.
Before that, was I?
No.
Was I trying to be
deceitful? You thought I didn't think you were being totally honest with me because, I kept catching little lies.
Yeah.
But we're beyond that now.
All right.
So if there's some reason why you're supposed to, your DNA is going to be on there, if there's some reason you forgot, this is the time to damn sure remember. This is serious business right here, right now. Okay?
No, my DNA is not in that car.
Okay.
And it is not on her.
It is.
It's not in the steering
And
wheel.
that's what I'm telling you. It is. Now you may be smart enough to wear gloves so the fingerprints aren't there, but apparently you took them off or you sweated down on them. That's the only explanation I have for it, because I don't have your fingerprints there. I think you were very careful. I think you did a very good job wearing gloves the entire time you're taping her. I just want to know why. She obviously y'all got a little bit of issue according to your friend Miss Fowler. You're cussing and yelling up a storm, mad at her that day. I don't see the reason.
Did you ever ask her sister Pam that was in the car that same question?
No.
Because
I understand you were dating Pam, huh?
No.
Went out with her or something?
No, never.
That was interest I had. I talked to Fowler, who says she's in there, and she's telling me she knows Cheryl and knows her voice.
I told her it was Cheryl. It wasn't an argument.
Okay, so you're talking with her on the phone, but she's saying you're cussing up a storm and angry, and it's all over money. Now, you told me you paid Cheryl back on Friday, as I recall, right? Okay, so you paid her this money, right? This conversation is supposed to happen on Monday. I guess during all that series of phone calls that you have that afternoon with her. Because you're talking to Cheryl, I think, like 6 times that evening. The last person you talked to on your cell phone, because I've only got your cell phone records, is her. You talked to your last 3 phone calls are all her. Okay? So, you're telling me that you're calling to try and get her some drugs. You have 3 phone calls with her, but I don't see where you're trying to call the drug dealer for. I met the drug dealer. I actually got a hold of him, talked to him.
Yeah.
I had to go get the folder, get his name. You described the gold color thing, the car. He's got an aunt. He didn't want to tell me his first name, but I ended up getting a hold of him, talking to him and his aunt. He said he was nervous talking to you because he had heard about some murder. I guess he knows Larry Spears too, and y'all met this drug dealer through Larry's. He said he recorded you when you came over. I got a recording of the recording. I got a recording of where he recorded. You remember him recording you?
On his cell phone?
Yeah. He recorded it off his cell phone. I recorded that. I may still have it. Well, anyway, you just go over. Oh yeah, the cops are talking to me about this. But yeah, I talked to him, find out what was going on that day. I've talked to everybody, dude. And you know, you're arguing with her over money. Do I think that's enough to kill somebody? No. But obviously you got anger problems because we know about the other incident, right? What you're in here for. Okay. So were you that angry?
No. I'm not that angry of a person.
Okay, you're not. Well, you had an issue with that one incident, I guess. And maybe that was unique. Okay. But she's saying that you're yelling and cussing, calling her the bitch and all this other stuff.
That is
screaming
the most
and hollering.
bullshit.
Okay. I mean, I don't know. I'm just talking to the witnesses. Okay. So you got that. Her wallet appears there in your house. Now, you know, let me tell you, if Larry's DNA was in there, I'm all about everybody and his brother was saying, Larry did this. That's why I came to you that first time I talked to you. I said, hey, I want to find your roommate. I need to talk to Larry. Remember that day? Okay? I'm hot and heavy. Go and try and talk to him because everybody and his brother saying, hey, Larry had some girl die over his house and Larry's a bad person. He was with her. He's probably jealous. She's got a new boyfriend. I'm all about that, right? I go over there, find out. Phone records show him up in Alabama. I can actually see him because he's making phone calls as he's going up to Alabama. DNA, none of it comes back on him. Who she's talking to is you. Where her wallet where we find her wallet, it's in your house. You know, did she leave her wallet in your house today she came over to pay you? Maybe that's it. She leave the wallet over there today she come and pay you? She'll here, give me the money you want and here's my wallet too. That wallet, your explanation is you find it in Larry's stuff. Did we walk through that house that day? I didn't see it sitting around. I didn't see it sitting around there. Did you? All of a sudden it appears. And it's under your bed. I think that, you know, if I was going to go back and look at this and see, hey, what did he screw up on? That wallet would ring big time. I think the wallet you screwed up on. I think you did a damn good job with fingerprints. You must have gloved up, and it's hard with electrical tape. With that big, thick black tape, it's hard to tape stuff up with gloves on. Hey, and wasn't a fingerprint on it. I think you had to wipe the car, too, because there wasn't any fingerprints on the car, but the touch DNA was there. That's what got you. That's what bit you in the butt. That and the wallet were the two things, I think, where you failed. Did a pretty good job other than that. And this isn't, you know, this ain't no bullshit. You know, maybe there was some situation I don't know about there that day, because I don't know exactly what occurred. I don't even know exactly where this took place at. I just know the end result is a woman dead, okay? Her family wants answers. I certainly would like to have the answers. I'm curious as a cat. That's why I do this job. Because I want to know. My whole job is to find out the truth. That's why we check all the facts. Okay? But the DNA report's coming back with you on the steering wheel, you on the electrical cord, you on the clothing. Okay? The wallet's in your house. It's in your house at a time when Larry Spears is confirmed out of town. Okay? So your story is that you find it in Larry Spears. I don't know, man. It don't make sense. The only thing that makes sense is it's you. We took all these facts and presented them to a judge, and he felt the same way. Okay? That's why the judge signed it. So, you know, if you want to sit here and deny, I'm telling you, you're going to go down with the cold-blooded killer who did it. If there's something that went wrong, if there's something that happened, this is the time to tell me. This is the time to tell me, hey, she was pissed off, I owed her money, thought pulled the gun on me, I did take care of myself. I don't know. I don't know what happened. But this is the time to tell me, okay? Because we keep jacking around like this, and then all of a sudden you want to go the day of the court and say, yeah, you know, a year and a half ago when I got arrested for this, I didn't want to tell the policeman, but, you know, we got in an argument, it was an accident. I don't want to hear all that bullshit. I don't want to hear all that whining and crying stuff later. I want to know about it now. So, if you got an explanation for all these facts coming back to you, I am all about hearing it. All about it. Okay?
Got nothing.
Got nothing. Okay. I got nothing. Judge don't sign for nothing, dude. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. You don't sign. I don't get a warrant signed off nothing. So, you know, that's your explanation, that's your explanation. But,
That's
you
it.
know, damn. There's no reason you can tell me why your DNA would be there. No reason you can tell me why the wallet would end up under your bed. That actually makes sense. You know? Where'd the wallet come from, dude? Where'd the wallet come from? What were y'all talking about on the phone all night? I mean, you couldn't have been talking about, yeah, you do have the right to remain silent. You don't have to talk to me at all, and I told you that in the rights. If you don't want to talk to me, don't talk to me. But I got questions, and the family's got questions, and everybody wants answers. Okay? If you can tell me what y'all were talking about, it can't be a drug dealer. It can't be over drugs because you didn't call nobody else to try and get her no drugs. You know, the last 3 phone calls are with her. You don't call anybody else. So if you're trying to get her drugs, who you calling? Nobody. You just go to bed, I guess, right?
I told
She don't come by.
No.
Nobody's over there. Nobody's with you all night. You don't drive her car. How's your DNA on the damn steering wheel, dude? I don't know either. Look, I don't go out to try and focus in on it. You came out of left space. I tell you, the first time I saw you, I could tell you were nervous, but I didn't know why. I was trying to get to Larry Spears, was I not?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that was my goal. That's where I was headed to. I want to go to Alabama and talk to Larry Spears. You put me on the phone with him. I was all about that.
Mm-hmm.
But the more I checked on Larry, the more I checked on Tom and Cody, they don't match up. Everything's coming back to you.
Obviously.
So, why? Other than you did it, why? Somebody walking around collecting your skin? Trying to put DNA on you?
Must be.
Well, they should have collected your fingerprints. That would have been easier, huh?
You're the only one that got my DNA.
Okay. Me, FDLE, I don't collect that. The crime scene does, but yeah. You gave it to the courts, you gave it to me, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's about it. Nobody else collected any. But it's on her steering wheel. You know? And that wallet, man, talk to me about this wallet, man. I mean, you had an excuse that day. Tell me again where you found it.
I need to use the bathroom whenever we get a chance.
You can use the bathroom. You want to go right now? I'll let you go right now. Sure. Yeah.
Apparently his bathroom break smacks a little sense into him because finally, after hours of interrogation, he decides it might be time to ask for a lawyer.
Here. Okay, so what were we talking about? You find the wallet where? Where do you find that wallet again?
I'm waiting for my day in court, like you said, man.
Okay. You don't want to talk to me? I'll get up and go. You don't want to talk to me? That's fine. I just want to remind you, this is the last time you are going to get a chance to talk to me before court. Last time you'll get a chance to get your signed versions out before we go. Okay?
Yes, sir.
All right. As long as you're good with that. Don't want to answer any of those questions for that family.
We'll find out. We'll have my day in court, like
Okay.
I said.
That's what we do. Come on.
Scott's day in court that he was so anxiously waiting for didn't exactly work in his favor. He was ultimately convicted of second-degree murder for the violent death of Cheryl Kane and sentenced to life in prison. However, that only amounted to around 13 years behind bars. On April 27, 2023, while incarcerated at Blackwater Correctional Facility, Scott passed away. The cause of his death hasn't been publicly released. Oddly enough, however, his father passed away the exact same day. Their memorials were held on the same day, at the same venue, only hours apart. Sadly, that funeral home was also the place where Cheryl Kane's funeral was held on March 30th, 2009.